Queensland's reopened. One of the first visitors, Anthony Albanese, straight in and to the seat of Longman, Emma.
Yeah, that's right. And I think we can expect to see both Anthony Albanese and the Prime Minister spending as much time now in Queensland as they possibly can. There's obviously an election coming up pretty sharpish next year. And I think that having been locked out of that state for some time, they'll both be pretty keen to be campaigning up there.
Emma, who would have thought that these state border announcements, I mean, if I told you this a couple of years ago, that we'd be talking about the enormity of WA's long-awaited announcement coming up and then Queensland reopening its borders to us in New South Wales. I mean, it actually becomes normal, but really it is just so abnormal still, this reaction.
Yeah, 2 years ago, we'd never have had this conversation, right? We're one country. The thought that you might not be able to cross an internal border was unthinkable. And obviously, extraordinary times call for extraordinary measures. I think some of these border closures have been necessary. And one of my close friends lives in WA. It's barely touched their lives, the pandemic. So we understand why it happened. But now that the vaccine's here and we're moving on to booster shots here in Victoria. I'm booked in for my booster on Wednesday. I think, we are one country, we are one people, and we want to be able to not only travel to see loved ones and spend time with family. Some of those scenes from the airport in Brisbane today were, truly heartrending, but also to get on with business and get on with our lives.
Yeah, well, Emma, I've got my booster Wednesday as well, same day.
Great.
I had a wonderful
Triple
weekend
shot,
in Melbourne, I've got to say. So nice to be back in that beautiful city of Melbourne and reopening and coming back to life, Emma Dawson, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. I was in the city today and things are picking up. I was in on the weekend at a friend's 50th in the city, and it was really lovely to be back with people.
Yeah.
There were kind of moments where you sort of stopped and went, oh, we haven't done this for a long time, But on the other hand, it feels completely natural and normal as well. So I think we're all looking forward to that summer of spending time with each other, trying to, get back to some semblance of COVID normal, but also, learn some lessons from what we've experienced over the last 2 years, maybe take life at a slightly slower pace, but it is terrific to be getting back to the city.
Kerry Chikarovsky, we've got this period now into the general election next year, some stage, probably May, but there's still uncertainties, whether it be on the health front with this latest variant or whatever else comes, but also in terms of what the states do. And as I mentioned to Emma, we are awaiting Mark McGowan's announcement of his long-awaited transition plan, Kerry.
Yeah, and I think if you were sitting in Perth at the moment, you'd be saying, please, God, just tell us when things are going to open up. I have a niece over there who, she's very patient. She says everybody over here is very patient, but they all wanted to come home to the East Coast for Christmas, and clearly that's not going to happen. So I think it's that level of uncertainty, and obviously for people wanting to travel the other way as well. People are tired of booking flights and then cancelling. They're tired of organising holidays and not being able to go. And I must say, I suspect, we were always concerned about what it was doing to the Queensland tourism economy. I suspect it's actually impacting on the West Australian tourism economy as well, because just anecdotally, people who tell me they were going to the Margaret River for Christmas or in January, well, they're not going to go, but they're not even thinking about going back any time at all next year because they just don't trust when the borders are going to be open. So we need certainty, we need clarity. People need to be able to make those plans. They need to be able to catch up with their loved ones. And I think we're all just a little bit at this stage looking forward to some lights at the end of all tunnels like we have in New South Wales and Victoria.